Yo, what up? It's Roger from the Mask Gorilla Podcast, Season 3, and we got Kreayshawn on the pod.
It's me.
It's
Kreayshawn.
you. We were actually talking about this off camera. Probably the majority of the interviews I've done, it's artists who have been somewhat popular for like a year.
Okay.
They haven't signed a record deal yet.
Oh, they haven't been to hell and back yet.
No, haven't been to hell and back. Maybe a lot of these guys probably haven't even done their own headlining show yet. Like, it's early in their career.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, have kind of experienced an insane arc.
Yeah.
And you've had that career.
Yeah.
And from the outside looking in, it seems like it's been a wild ride.
It was, yeah. It was. It's actually something that, I started going to therapy, maybe 3 years ago. I go every week. But I started going for other stuff. But then, as the other stuff, started getting out of my life, it was like, okay, let's talk about my career, because obviously that's important, and I'm an artist, and I'm so extremely jaded from my time with, all that record label and, fame shit that, I didn't record at all for, a long-ass time.
I think people might take it for granted, especially if there's younger kids watching this who are teenagers, even early 20s, that in 2011, you were one of the most popular artists at that moment.
For a moment.
The spotlight was on you.
Yeah.
Is it just surreal now? I mean, it's almost 10 years later, even thinking about all the crazy shit that happened.
It's honestly very embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's so embarrassing. The other day, I went to pick up my son from school, and one of the teachers there were like, "Oh my God, you're Kreayshawn. I am such a fan." And
really?
I was like, "Oh my God, why'd you have to say something?" I'm so embarrassed by it,
On Twitter, every 6 months, a clip of the video will pop up. Yeah. A minute-long clip, and it will get 5,000 retweets.
I've seen
more?
It'll get 50.
50,000.
I never retweet it. And they never tag me in it either. It's always this song, and then people send it to me or show me it or reply with it at me, and I'm like, but it's not me.
I saw the video on my timeline. It must have been maybe 8 months or a year ago, and I quote tweeted it saying wow, compared to some rap now like Lil Pump, who I love, this is sounds like the golden age boom bop of rap, because you forget this was a lyrical song, and it was a really good hook. And at the time, I think people were dismissive of it, even though it was a hit.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, it's if this came out today,
advanced,
it would be too lyrical to be popular.
I think maybe 2 years ago or so, last minute at Rolling Loud in San Francisco, I was in Texas. I had just did a show, and I was partying. My manager calls me do you want to do Rolling Loud tomorrow? And I was like, I'm in Texas. No. And he was like, just come do it. They'll pay you. I'm like, okay.
Oh, all right.
So I go up there, and I'm kind of nervous because Rolling Loud's pretty big, and I feel it's not a Kreayshawn show. So it's not Kreayshawn fans.
Right.
But I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to just go for it. I just did a show the night before, so I was like, yeah, I'm ready. So I do my set, and I was like, I'm gonna have all my homegirls from the Bay who rap come out and do a song, and just make it fun little 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So I do the bangers. I do Left Eye, Gucci Gucci, it's really lyrical, and I'm going right before Little Pump.
Oh, that's
I just
funny.
ran it it was not where I'm supposed to be. I went between Little Pump, and I forgot who just went right before me, but I did not fit, and everyone is just so pissed Because it's like Rolling Loud. They're all young.
Right.
All men. I'd have to say like 70% men. So everyone's pissed.
And it's like 15, 16
and like
Left
Eye,
kids.
I'm like, ladies, make some noise. It's like, I'm like, if your boyfriend cheats on you, like dump him. And all the guys are like, no, boo.
Don't say that.
They're booing.
Oh, really? They're actually booing?
They're
oh
like,
my
little
God.
pop, little. And I'm just, I think it's so funny. Like, it made me like, I just loved it.
But was anyone in the crowd reactive?
I mean, after like I saw tweets of girls being like, "Oh my God, like I loved your set," or like Kreayshawn, like blah blah blah. But for the most part, like it just went over their heads, and like to think that I'm just like, first of all, I did it. I'm not rapping over the song. Like I'm rapping like for real. Like I'm using my whole body here, and like insane like delivery, like as far as like the raps and stuff like are very like breathy. Like
right.
There's no like. So yeah, it was just funny that I was just like, oh my God, this is so crazy that music has changed so much. And then like after that, I got like really inspired, and that's when I made that EP that I just put out, last month.
Yeah.
That was all like coming off of that, like Rolling Loud and being like, okay, like being less lyrical and being less artistic with your words and making it more simple and like easy to receive is like, it's cool. It's chill. I like doing it like that anyway, so.
Gucci Gucci was released in 2011?
I think so.
But before that, Kitties and Chappas,
yeah,
that was 2010. Listening to it now, it feels like you were freestyling the entire thing.
I did, yeah. What happened was I was freestyling a lot, and that's like how I did my music. I had no sense of like what bars were, or like verses, or like when to stop and like make a hook. Like I never did that. Literally just rip like beats off YouTube and just go on them, like same with Be Nasty. Like I was the one who was like, I got a microphone. We had like the little snowball mic that was like $25, right. And like I would like force her to come like make music because I just like, I don't know, I just thought it was fun. It was like funny, And I met Speaks. He like found out about me and was like, I want to help you like learn how to like do it better, like do verses and like bars and shit. So like I came to LA and we ended up like meeting. I think I shot like a music video for him that never came out, and he wrote Gucci Gucci and sent it to me, and I was like, at the time I was like, oh shit, this is sick, like yeah, I'll rap this is dope, but like looking back and seeing how like everything turned out, I'm like, I wish that never happened. Like I wish none of that ever happened, man. Like it was just a wild ride.
When you say he wrote it, do you mean he just wrote the hook and you filled in the verses, or he wrote the entire song?
No, he wrote the whole thing.
Oh.
I think the only thing I did at that time was like switch some things out that like made more sense, or like put a little bit more of like a female perspective on it. But other than that, like he sent it to me. He was like, yo, you should do this. I'm like, okay. Like it didn't occur to me that like, and then like there was like a time when it was like everyone's like, oh, like Speaks wrote it, like she's garbage, like like she didn't do that. And it's like nowadays, like a lot of females, even, dude, I wrote my whole album by myself. Because after that happened, I was like, I have to prove a point.
Right.
I have to write my whole album by myself. And when I got my percentages, I was like, why do I have the least percent on my song that I wrote myself? So a lot of people have people who help write, or whatever the case is,
Wait, so why was that? You're saying a song that you wrote completely by yourself, you still got less percentage.
Because, anybody who fucking walks in a studio gets a percent somehow,
Right, yeah.
I'll be writing a song, they're like, you should say they are instead of there. And then next thing you know, they have a fucking percentage on your record. You're like, what? Like,
but
okay.
So for this For the one that Speak wrote, how'd that work out in terms of, because that went platinum, right?
Did it?
Did it go platinum?
I
Gold?
think
It went gold,
they went
because
gold,
I remember
yeah.
Speak. I still remember him, like, it. Whether it's gold or platinum, he was like, I'm going to go back to my high school and show my teachers who said I wasn't going to be anything this plaque.
Did he get a plaque? I never got a plaque.
You never got a plaque?
No.
I don't know if he even. Listen, this was 10 years ago. It could have been like a screenshot of an article saying, like.
Yeah, no, it definitely went gold. I mean, if it came out today, it definitely would have been platinum.
Right, with
by,
the
like,
streaming.
the streams.
And, like, the YouTube.
Yeah. But back then, there was no. They didn't count YouTube plays, and there was. Spotify didn't exist.
So crazy.
So, you know.
So you record that song.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to put the video up and then you sign a record deal?
I don't know. Honestly, like, I was drinking so much lean back then, like, and just I was such a fucking stoner, and honestly, I'm not like sure. Not long. You know, maybe like 3 or 4 months.
And
maybe.
For those who don't know, famously at the time, the headlines were Kreayshawn signs $1 million record deal.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Oh, no.
I was like, damn, bro.
What?
Yeah, that was one of the famous headlines.
Yeah.
Signs the $1 million deal. Yeah.
And then I feel like
I
like also remember, like, it was either shortly after or whenever, like, you did an interview and you were like, yeah, people think I just have $1 million in my bank account, but that's not how this whole thing works.
No. No, I got a portion of it. I definitely had it. When I put that check in my bank account, I think I had like $300 in my bank account, and then I just put in like a $300,000 check.
Shit.
Like, it was so crazy, and like, I mean, yeah, of course, looking back, and I'd say like, yeah, I wish it never happened. I mean, I guess I don't and do, you know?
I mean, so much happened in that window.
Yeah.
So I remember watching an episode of Entourage, and they had your song in it.
Yeah.
And then
they had Bumpin' in it, right?
No, it was Gucci.
Oh.
I actually looked it up on
Lame.
YouTube
It should have
today.
been Bumpin'.
Yeah, I mean, that would make more sense because it wasn't a party scene.
And they were doing coke.
Yeah, probably. That show is just all cocaine.
Bumpin' was a slap.
Was that before Gucci?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that video was already out
Uh-huh.
Were you on a rooftop?
Yeah. I was just showing my son that video the other day.
Era right there.
He was like, "Why is your hair blonde? Are you on a roof? That's crazy."
Like, how did you get up there? And then Lil Wayne remixed it.
Yeah, he did.
He put it on Sorry for the Wait.
He did.
How do you remember when you heard that for the first time?
I was I'm such a Wayne fan,
Yeah.
especially like back in the mixtape days. It was like all the time in the hood, like the new Wayne song would come out, everyone was like bumping it. So I was like, whoa, this is trippy. And then I remember at the VMAs, I had seen him, and I was like, oh my God, Lil Wayne. I was like, I'm so scared. Like, I want to say hi, but I'm like, you know, I'm just like big celebrity energy. I couldn't. And I was like, he wouldn't even know who I am anyway. There's no point. And then, like, someone I was with was like, bro, he remixed your song. And he said, Kreayshawn on it. And I was like, oh, shit. I forgot. Like.
So, did you say hi to him?
No,
or no?
I didn't. I was too scared.
So, you never met him?
No. But I seen him. I was really close. So,
I mean,
basically, yeah.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And then, what else has happened here? I have it written down. Oh, yeah. Something else that was like, the headline that I remember was like, Kreayshawn signs $1 million deal, and she's going to direct a Red Hot Chili Peppers video.
Oh,
what?
Terrible.
What? Like, I mean, we don't need to get into the whole story, but
no.
like, what? Why? How?
Well, I went to film school.
Right. And
So, like, when I moved to LA, my goal was, like, I'm gonna, like, hold a C-stand and be a grip and, like, work my way up to the top, you know? And then, like, you know, a little bit after that, everything changed. But, yeah, I don't even remember how, but I was gonna I did it.
Yeah.
We did. It was
also on a roof in Venice.
No.
Oh, it's not that video. It's not the
So
Adventures of Rain Dance
It
Maggie.
is, but here's the story.
Oh my God, yes. Breaking news. 10 years later.
So we had a full budget. I mean, maybe over 100K. And like, I did this whole thing, the whole video. We shot it. It was like, the whole storyline was like this rave where this kid gets like drugged by this chick, and like it's raining inside, and it was just like crazy. And then the Red Hot Chili Peppers, like, they're like the ambulance drivers, or they like pop up randomly, and there was a goat. I mean, it was crazy. It was sick, you know? So we finished the video. Everything went fine. Nothing, there was no catch. The day went great. Everyone loved what was going on. And, you know, V Nasty had her own headlines, if you catch what I'm saying.
Yes.
And they were bleeding into my story.
Oh, that's interesting.
And what happened was they didn't want to be a part of it. There's just a lot of controversy when I was coming up. I mean, every interview was just like all these questions that were just like, oh my God, these are too big for me. You know, like, I don't know what's going on. Like,
how old were you at the time?
I think I was 20.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, they scrapped the video and they reshot it on the roof.
Is that any, like, do you have that somewhere, or like it never even got to being edited?
They wouldn't give me any of the footage. Wow. I never even seen it.
That's crazy.
The label like owns the rights to the footage. That'd be cool. If anyone has access to these files, I would love to see. Put it in my demo reel.
Now I'm thinking about it, I feel like I might be able to go through those archives at Warner. Don't want to make any promises because there's no way they're gonna let me. But you were saying so much crazy stuff was happening.
Yeah. And
like, I hate to even bring this up, but I'm curious, like 10 years later, what you think of this. Somehow you got into a beef with Rick Ross. And like, that was something too, that when we agreed to the interview and I was going through like literally 100 articles that I wrote about you on the blog, I was like, what? I remember this. Yeah. And then I like tried to find even more about it than what I wrote. And it seems like it wasn't much there. It was just like a freestyle, and he threatened you.
Well, no, what happened? So what happened was, mind you, this whole time I'm like screwed out of my mind. Like, I'm fucked up. You know, like, I'm drinking lean every day, or I'm going out of town and I don't have lean, and like I'm coming on and off like all the time. No excuses, but just to say. So yeah, I did that freestyle, and there was a line about Rick Ross, and then like literally right after, like, this is in New York. I was doing like a New York press junket, whatever.
It was like Sway in the Morning or something, or
I think it was like the Kev freestyle.
Right. Cosmic Kev, maybe. Yeah. And
God, this day was horrible. This whole day was a day. So I remember this day. And right after MTV does an interview with me, like, you said something, and I was like, I didn't mean it. It was just like wordplay, like, you know, just freestyling, like, you just say things, like, there's no this. But as I'm watching this, I'm on Ustream. Shout out Ustream.
Oh my God. This isn't real. This whole interview is just a blast from the past.
So wow. I'm on Ustream, and I'm like, I'm all fucked up. I'm like, oh shit, like MTV just posted this video of me, and I watch it, and then I'm like, I'm all nice. Well, I didn't mean anything. And then my homies just start egging me on, and then I'm like, what I really wanted to say was, and I just said the worst stuff ever. Like, I've watched that video, and I've been like, oh my God, like, I would want to kill me too. Like, I was terrible for no reason. I was just like so young, and like,
you were just being
like
a little punk kid.
None of this was real to me. Like, I didn't think that anything I said would even be a thing, you know? So like, I said all this shit like as a joke, which wasn't funny to some people.
Because I assume you could have never imagined that he would even hear it, let alone respond, because he's Rick Ross. And he's like on the radio, and like, I mean, granted, like, your profile was up there, but
not in my brain. I was stupid as hell, you know, like.
But he heard it.
He did.
And that was, we don't even have to go down that whole story, but that was, I'm just trying to hammer home the point here that like a 1.5, 2 year period was nuts.
Yeah, I have a lot of I have to say sorry to a lot of people. Definitely say sorry to him.
You can just stare right?
Sorry.
I'm so sorry, Rick Ross.
I fucked up, man. I'm a new woman now.
Well, he was kind of an asshole in that scenario, too. I mean, now,
Was he?
2020, I don't think,
I completely egged that whole thing on. He
Right.
had nothing to do with it,
No.
other than his reaction, which was fine.
Yeah. Anyway, so you sign this deal,
Yeah.
and it goes from a mixtape where you're pretty much fucking around and freestyling and
Yeah.
having fun, and now you sign $1 million deal and you record a studio album that features Kid Cudi
Oh, yeah.
and 2 Chainz.
Yeah.
How'd the Kid Cudi, what was that about?
The producers that I was working with on all of this whole album, were like homies with him. And they were like, oh, let's have him come in. So he actually came and like kicked it for like a couple days. He's just like in the studio, and we'd all just be chilling, drinking, having fun.
Was that, I mean, you said your life was crazy, but was that one of like the more like, I'm in the studio with Kid Cudi, like how is this real?
No, Kid Cudi's like super normal.
Yeah.
Like he's super chill to kick it with, so it didn't feel like, I don't know, awkward at all. He was like really chill, so we would just be hanging out. But one time Pharrell walked in the studio and I thought I was gonna die.
Did he like acknowledge you, or was just like he was like passing by?
Well,
sort of thing?
the producer knew him. He's like, oh, like come in the studio, check what we're working on, you know. And he plays him one of the songs on my album called Love House, which is probably like the most polar opposite song that like is like me at all, you know. And I'm like singing on it. It's totally fucking corny song. I hate that song. But he plays him that, and I'm like, oh my god, like why would you play this? Like play like the poppin' shit,
right?
You know? Like,
or
you're
like
playing
the
this,
smash hit,
emo jam.
Yeah.
And I can't even look at this fool. Like he's just like, and I'm just like, my eyes are darting around. Like I can't like. NERD was like my shit. Like that's where I discovered like what being horny was. I was like, oh my god, this man Pharrell. Like when I look at him, like I feel a tingle like somewhere I've never felt one, you know. So like yeah, I loved NERD. I love Pharrell, and like so for him to be there was a complete like that. That was my most starstruck moment in my whole.
So what did he say when he finished?
I don't even
hearing
remember.
the
I was
song?
blacked out. I just fainted. He probably was like, "This is dope. All right, I'm gonna go."
Yeah.
You know?
So the album comes out, which I remember another article I wrote was it was huge at the time. Were first week sales numbers.
Yeah, that was such a thing.
It was just like there was the most viewed articles on the website for
Yeah.
me and for everyone, and like that was the thing that everyone.
Yeah.
And like it didn't go according to plan for you. Like at what?
You want to hear the tea behind that?
Yeah, so
I'm
what's
gonna
the story?
Drag somebody. So, I'm doing the album, and like the label's really pushing this agenda of like being pop, because I think what happened was they just couldn't figure out how to market what Gucci was into like record sales, because there was no streaming.
Right.
And there was no the singles and the streaming and making an EP with 3 songs that are 1 minute each. Like that was like what? That was not an idea back then.
And it was also as the music industry was kind of like tail diving.
Yeah.
It was like this weird period before
Yeah.
streaming and before money started pouring back into the music
so
industry.
they're like, let's save this and like turn her into Katy Perry. So they're like, take this vocal class. Take this dance class. Like, wear heels. Can you put weave in your hair? Like, can you do this? Can you do that? And I just started, like, being like, no. So they put my album, my physical copies, only in Hot Topic.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. They punished me.
Oh my God. They were like, okay, we're just going to get this one out of here.
Yeah. So they put it only out in Hot Topic, and then they only they didn't even like ship it the day it was out. After the album, I did a tour I think I did a tour, and then I did a European tour, and then I was like, yeah, I was like gonna take a break, and then I got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh shit, if I'm pregnant, like nobody can make me do anything. I have to just chill. That was my plan. But it worked out too good because the label dropped me like a couple days after I announced I was pregnant.
Jesus Christ.
Which is scandalous now because you think like, you know, we were talking about like women in hip hop, and like if I said today like the label dropped me like 2 days after I announced I was pregnant, like everyone would be in like an uproar. They'd be like, what? No.
I mean, they literally wouldn't now.
They wouldn't.
Like,
they'd be
it
like,
would never make it past
they'd be like,
someone's
this is
first thought.
great marketing.
Yeah.
You know, like, yes.
It's like powerful. We're going to put her on a magazine cover with a microphone.
She's going to perform the Grammys pregnant, you know? Yeah.
I mean, what? You're on such a high, and then it's kind of coming down, and then you get dropped. You're pregnant. Where are you at mentally? What's going on in your life? Like,
yeah, I was pregnant, and then I had a baby, which I was surprised for some reason.
like, oh wait, oh yeah, there's like the other part of this
I
besides
had
just
no
being
idea,
pregnant.
bro. I'm serious. It's such a crazy thing, but I 100% didn't believe that I was gonna have a baby.
You were just gonna be like pregnant for the next 25
chill.
years,
and then and then it would just like squish back down. So yeah, then I was like, oh shit, I got a fucking baby. So like the first year of having a baby is just like baby land. You're just in baby mode. And then after that, now I'm here. It's crazy how
and
that
your
happens.
son is outside
playing Fortnite
in the office, and he's insanely cute.
Thank you.
How old is he now? 5, turning 6, or 6?
He's 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easier now that he's older, but...
Right, he's just sitting on the couch, playing video games.
Yeah.
You don't got to worry too hard about him right now.
No, he's chilling.
Yeah. He's also with an adult, let's just make that clear.
Hey, he could be out there by himself. He'd be fine. Trust me.
Man, I feel like I'm hitting you one after the other with these headlines.
Okay.
But, I mean...
I'll spill the tea. I'm very eloquent with my responses.
And next on the timeline is December 21st, 2015. Your bank account was seized.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what?
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, that was fucked up.
I mean...
Yeah, that happened. That was, yeah.
Because okay, so like here's a question leading into that.
Mm-hmm.
You sign your deal, you get dropped, you still get to keep the money they already gave you. They probably don't fulfill. Like, did you ever see the full million, or it's like here's the advance for the first album that was like $300,000.
Yeah.
But you're floating off of that for the next few years, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're making money doing other stuff.
Spent a lot of it, because anytime we did a tour or like anything like that came out of like my money. Mm-hmm. So like,
right,
everyone's hotels, everyone's flights, the bus, food, all that comes out of my money. So I mean, by the time it was all over, I wasn't even close to $300K, but it was enough.
It's how you were supporting yourself.
Yeah. And
then your bank account got seized by the IRS in 2015. Yeah,
that sucked.
Did you have a sense it was going to happen?
No.
Or?
No. So I had this accountant. His name was Kevin Foster. If you could look him up. This whole story's on there. He was an accountant for Neo and Brian McKnight too. Oh my God. Random.
Superstars.
Yeah. They had a lot of money. But he was stealing everyone's money.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
is that like in the news?
Yeah, he went to jail. He's in jail right now.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, I wasn't part of the case or anything, because, I mean, what he stole from me was, like, not nowhere close to what Neo and Brian McKnight pull in, so... I mean, I probably should have, but, I mean, if he's going to jail, it's not like I would have got any money from the case anyway.
But with that being said, did it get resolved with the IRS, or they're
No,
still like, you owe us
I
all this
still
money?
owe them. Because what happened was he was saying, I'm filing your taxes. I need $50K. I need $20K. I need this amount. And I would give it to him.
To pay your
The
taxes for the year. Because when you get paid by a record label, you're an independent contractor, and they don't take taxes out of what they give you. So it's your responsibility to pay the government.
Yeah.
And you hire an accountant, and you think he's doing it. So you're giving him the money that you think is going
to pay that. But he never
He's
filed.
pocketing it. This is my worst nightmare.
He never even filed for all those
Holy
years.
Shit.
And so yeah, I owed $350,000 in taxes. So they wiped my bank account to zero because they don't even know how much is in your bank account. They just hit you with that, and if it's more or less than that, that's what it is. But it was obviously less than that, so I got zeroed out 2 days before Christmas. It was terrible. I was a mess. I was a mess.
So you're still dealing with that?
Actually, I got a tax attorney, and we literally just resolved this whole scenario like maybe a couple months ago.
Oh, wow.
So I did a thing called an offer in compromise, and it's basically saying, I owe you all this money, but I ain't got it. I can pay you X amount of money
if you leave me alone.
If because they have to take whatever you can offer. So they're like, let's see how much money you make, and base it off of that. So I got like a $350,000 debt down to like, I think it was like $8,000 or something.
Wow.
It's possible, guys.
Wow. Well, that's possible. A relief.
Yeah.
Because that's insane.
Yeah.
To be in the hole that much.
Yeah.
Man. What is there any now that, I mean, that was more recent and it was just resolved.
Yeah.
But you signed your record deal almost 10 years ago. It was like 9 years ago.
Shit.
Is there any advice that you would give to younger artists who are just starting this journey of like...
Younger artists, they already know. They don't have to sign.
Right. Because there's like streaming.
Yeah.
And there's other alternatives.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You don't have to do any of that shit.
But like outside of a record deal, like you said your life was like a blur at that time period.
I think it was mainly because of of course I was young and I was like on one, but I think a lot of it was just like the record label, like those press days. I found an old schedule of a press day, and it was like, maybe like 20 interviews in a whole day, in one day.
Jesus Christ. Do you even remember half of the outlets?
No. Well, I have the piece of paper, but it's just like insane.
It was like 5 radio stations, MTV,
and then like
XXL,
phoners
Hot New Hip Hop.
in between, like in the car, like while you're driving to the next one, you're on the phone with like a German newspaper, and you're like struggling to like hear them, and the phone's breaking up, and you're just like, I want to go to sleep.
Jeez.
Yeah, it sucked ass.
Well, thankfully you're going to therapy.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. No, but it was cool to release that like EP I did last month because I had those songs out, and then I was like, oh yeah, I got access to my Spotify now. I can put them on Spotify. And like one of the songs are making rounds on like TikTok, the Missing Kitty song, for some reason.
Right,
like,
yeah, because that's the one that has the most plays on Spotify.
Yeah.
Is there, when you say you got access to your Spotify, like how does that work? You got dropped by Columbia, but they still own your old music?
They own my album.
But like you can still put out music under Kreayshawn and all that.
Yeah.
So this new EP that you put out,
it's 100% me, man. Cop that.
TOBM.
Fuck playing Gucci. Yeah. Fuck playing Go Hard. That shit don't go to my pocket.
You don't get any money from that.
No.
Not any like, oh, you get a check for $100.
I literally get a check for $100.
Literally.
Yeah, from ASCAP like every 3 months.
But true Oakland black metal.
Yeah.
What inspired you to want to Because that was your first project in how long?
Hell long.
Since your album? Did you put stuff out like after that?
I did features and stuff. Like I did features.
Right. You did a Young Lean feature?
Yeah, I did an Insane Clown Posse feature.
Oh yeah.
I did some features.
What made you want to stop like recording music though?
I just didn't feel good doing it. I was too jaded. I was scared, and I don't know, I think I just put too much weight on it, you know, and like the EP for me was just like kind of going back to Kitties and Chappas, just like freestyling, saying whatever I want to say, making a song about wanting to be a baby, which is like the stupidest thing ever, but like I love that song. But like listening to Go Hard, I'm like, this song is so cringe, like I want to die.
Huh. Is that weird that so much of your life has been lived on the internet, and like even like bad hairstyles that you're like, oh, my hair was blonde on the rooftop, but just so much is out there?
Yeah. I definitely used to look different than I do now. I feel like I got a boob job.
Right, that was very recent. I saw that on your timeline.
Yeah, I got a boob job like 2-3 weeks ago.
And what inspired that?
Well, turning 30, because I'm 30 now.
You're 30.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like, I lived my whole life flat-chested, and puberty's never gonna happen, so
it's time.
Fuck it, you know? Body mods.
Are you feeling more confident? Are you happy?
I was just like, it's cool. It's like body modification. Like, getting tattoos was like my way of like being crazy, but like everyone gets tattoos now.
Right.
So we're going full body mod now.
Are there any more future mods you have in mind?
After I did that, I was like, holy shit, this was dumb. But I mean, it was fine. It all worked out. But I was like, this is a little more intense than I thought it would be.
You're like, you know what? I'm gonna keep it going. I'm gonna cut holes in my cheeks.
Yeah, get some scarification.
And get the things. Yeah. No.
Get some like braille bumps on my scales.
Or like that guy who he's always on like TLC or like maybe Guinness World Record books of like he turned himself into a cat.
Oh yeah, and he has the whisker screws. Yeah.
That shit is fucked up.
That feels sick. Body mod.
It could happen.
If they made if getting a dick extension was as easy as getting a boob job, like dudes would be like, hell yeah.
I think every guy. Yeah. Regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't they do that? It sounds like a lucrative idea. Is it just not possible?
I don't know. I don't know what a penis is. A cartilage? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Skin?
You should know. You're a man. I don't know no, because it gets hot. Like it changes shape. So.
That's true.
I don't know.
I don't know what's happening under there.
Me either.
Only God knows.
Yeah. One day.
What I saw you tweet recently, and I'm not even fully aware of. Was there a fake tweet scandal?
One.
For you?
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Oh shit! This is all clumps into the same horrible day because it was the same day that the whole Rick Ross thing came, confrontation. So I was at the VMAs and I got nominated for Best New Artist, which I was like, this is so dumb. Like, I don't want to win.
Is that the year that Tyler won?
Tyler won, yeah.
Okay.
So I was like sick. So I was at the VMAs and some anti-Jewish, anti-Hollywood, people hacked all my shit. They hacked my YouTube and they put up this really creepy video with a voice robot we are anonymous, the anti-Semite, blah blah. I don't know. It's some weird scary shit and they're we're taking over Hollywood and we're blah blah blah. I still have the video on one of my old accounts that they just put it up on every account that was associated with my email. They leaked my nudes that I had in my email.
And that was crazy because I remember that was before there was, I forget what it's called, but there was this huge celebrity nude leak. But that was like,
It
when
was
that
the
happened.
same guy.
But that was like years
He's in
before,
jail
though,
too.
right?
He's in jail too.
It was the same guy?
Yeah. I don't, did you see I posted the article about it? And in the article, it's the guy who did it and that he went to jail. But yeah, they hacked my Twitter.
That's the same guy who was also putting up the videos on your Twitter?
Scarlett Johansson.
Right,
and
but
all that.
you're saying he was also the guy who's like, we are anonymous.
Yeah. But they hacked my Twitter and they posted my nudes on my Twitter and then they like wrote like just terrible stuff on there. Pretty bad. And people like still like they're like, no, you said that. I'm like, why would I even say that? Like what?
Wow, like, I can't believe that was all the same day.
Yeah.
Rick Ross nudes leak and the fake tweet hacking.
And then I lost.
And you were at the VMAs.
Yeah, so I didn't have my phone like on, and this was like before like I don't even think I had an iPhone when I had the VMAs. I think I was still on like my Metro fucking
like a
slider,
yeah.
So I wasn't even on my phone, and I think someone had called my manager and was like, where are you? Like, check Twitter right now. And he was like, what the fuck? And they sucked.
He went to jail years later because he did like all the celebrities in Hollywood. But what happened, like, was there any immediate action besides your accounts being regained? Like, was there investigations? Because if I remember, eventually you were underage in the photos.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Were like the cops involved?
No.
No. You lived an insane life.
Yeah, shit. I should have been getting money and suing people the whole fucking time. I was just so out of it. Like, literally, like, my solution to all this was, like, I'm going to drink, like, 4 ounces and just, like, pass out for a couple days to let it blow over, And
you're sober now, right?
Yeah.
For, I think, a year?
Almost 2.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
What, like, led to that?
Long story short, I, like, moved out from my son's dad and I got my own place and I kind of was like, I got freedom, like he takes dad's half of the week. I can go out and like rage again, like I kind of wanted to like relive what I missed out on because I was working so much back then and I was just like, it was such a bummer that like anytime I was getting fucked up, it was like sad, like,
Right.
I was just like fucking nodding off drinking lean. So I was like, I'm gonna party and have fun, and I just went way too hard. I was going hard for a while.
And you hit the wall and you were like, it's time.
Yeah, I did. I was like, I kind of just got burnt out. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm fucking up. Like, this sucks. And I didn't even know, like, being sober was, like, a thing. I never met anybody who was, like, in AA. I never knew people who were like, I don't do anything.
Back when you were first starting, I doubt that any community of sober artists existed.
And people still don't even know that I'm sober. They're like, oh, let's meet up and blaze one. I'm like, bro, I've been sober for 2 years. They're like, what? That's crazy. You still smoke, though?
You're like, how sober are you? Like, does that mean, like, you're not doing coke or... That's funny.
I'm no substance gang.
Is your life way better?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Definitely. It is.
And then the combination of being sober and having a growing son, how has he just changed your life?
Yeah, it's sick. Like, being able to be present. I think that's the best part of being sober is, like, always being present in every situation, and being present, like, and having a kid and, like, connecting with them and shit is pretty dope. Plus, he's super chill. Like,
he's sick.
He's not, like, the type of kid who's, like, crazy and annoying and, like, jumps on the sofa and, like, he's like, let's play Mad Libs. I'll give you an adjective, like, he's a little brainiac.
God. Because in general, 6-year-olds are trash.
Yeah.
But your son's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Like, how can you be an asshole when Kreayshawn's your mom?
He'll be like, the other day in the car, he's like, "Hey, Mom." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, bumping. And I'm like,
really?
"Shut up. What?"
So he knows your music?
Yeah.
Did you, like, play it for him? Or are you like, maybe we can put on something else? Or you just
His
fully
favorite
indulge?
song was like "Go Hard" for a long time. He'd be like, "Play Go Hard," and I'd be like, "No."
That's so
I hate that
crazy.
song. Why do you hate it? I love it.
Does, like, he have any point of reference that his mom isn't, like, a normal mom, that she's, like, quasi-famous and was incredibly successful?
I mean, it's just weird. Well, because, like, I'm still on Instagram. So, like, during this whole time of, like, not making music, like, I've still remained, like, a personality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what's definitely, like, kept me afloat. I didn't just, like, disappear and reappear. Like,
Right.
I had still, like... I put in time on the internet, you know, like I'm an OG internet, like 10-year veteran on Twitter, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like,
it's like, what were you doing, like, after you stopped doing features, and then until
like,
more recently, like, how did you like stay afloat? And...
I would try everything. I still do. I DJ. I DJ a lot, and that's like what I did the majority of the time in between. I was DJing. I would do vlogs, but then I'd be like, I hate doing vlogs. It's so dumb, and it makes $0. So I was like, I'm not doing this. But I'd go on and off. I'm gonna do vlogs. I do streaming. Like I stream on Twitch, but my setup is so ghetto. It's like not even worth watching. Like the second I lag out, I just like exit the stream immediately because like playing the game is like more important to me than like the stream. You know, so. But yeah, like, I don't know. I really don't understand. Like, I did a podcast for like 3 years.
Right.
I did Cradio. No, I did Lost in Thought, then Cradio, and then Radio, which was like a ASMR podcast with Brittany Scott.
Right. I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. And I've had some jobs. I've worked at some companies as like a consultant to like help build their, you know, shit into internet culture and shit. But
where do you, when you look back at your career, do you feel, and I think this is what we were talking about when the podcast started, that if you came out in 2020, like,
and I was 20,
yeah, would it still be that wild ride of like people were hating but people loved it and there was all this drama, or would you just like fit into the kind of current landscape of what rap is now?
I definitely think I would have been viewed more as a success than like this story of like flopping, you know, because like between like the streams, like if that song was on Spotify and it came out today and it had the same excitement that it had then, like it would have gotten like 200,000 streams in the first week. No, not 200,000, like 200 million. I don't know, something crazy. Like Old Town Road type
200,000. It was like, yeah, like it would have done millions in
I
the first
been
day.
Old Town Road,
right,
bro.
Yeah,
straight up. There's just way more like genre bending now,
right?
You know. People don't really be like rapper Doja Cat. They're like artist, you know, because everyone's making art. It's not like...
That's a perfect example of like, that's a lane that you sort of like paved in a sense. It's like a very similar... I
don't know. People are always like, you inspired me to do this, or you create, like, you're responsible. Like, I'm like, well, I'm broke, so I don't feel responsible for shit.
Can I get some royalties for that inspiration?
Shit, I'm happy, but can I get a % on your album?
I remember this video of you in Times Square freestyling for MTV News. And it was still that time period of like, oh, you're a rapper, you have to freestyle on the spot for us right now. But like that doesn't really exist anymore.
Don't do that anymore.
Yeah, like that's not a thing.
Yeah.
Was that weird for you to have to kind of jump through the hoops of being a hip hop artist, even though you, like in your head, like I'm just a 20-year-old kid having fun, but you were still expected to.
They're like, rap now, prove yourself, prove it. I mean, at the time for me, it was like, fuck, this sucks. So I guess I have to do it. I was all nervous, anxiety all the time. Like, everyone's like, yeah, do an interview. They'd be like, yeah, can you bust a freestyle? And I'd be like, traffic, from a chapstick. I don't know.
Because that was the thing when I was doing interviews way back then for the website, like video interviews. Like, I interviewed Kendrick Lamar. It's like, okay, we're done. You have to freestyle now. Or like Yellow Wolf. It was just like expected.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's changed so much since then.
Yeah.
So 2020, you put out a new project.
Yeah.
It seems like you're in a way better place.
Yeah. I also been making ambient music. I don't know if you caught
No.
that. Yeah.
Is it under the name Kreayshawn or is it a different side project?
No, it's a side thing. It's Kreayshawn but with no vowels. So it's
right.
KrYshwn. I did like an ambient EP, and I'm working on another one. All my raps it's all about having fun. Like, I went to the studio with, you know who Young Skirt is?
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, I want to work with him. Like, me and him seem like we'd like chill, And yeah, we made like some songs and they were really dumb. But it was more of just like to feel out like our vibe and shit. But we made some shit. We're going to make some more stuff. So,
is there like any other goals that you have for 2020 in terms of, it almost feels like you're sort of like reclaiming your career in a sense because you feel more comfortable in it, right?
Well, yeah, because like what I would do is like almost make music and I'd be like, oh, I'm 24. No one cares. And then I'd be like, damn, I should have did when I was 24. Now I'm 26. Oh, no one cares. And then I'd do it all the time. I'd like make stuff, not release it, And then lately I'm just like, I don't care. Like, everyone's dumb. I'm going to make dumb music too. Like, fuck it.
And now that you have control of your Spotify, it must be liberating. Like, fuck it. I can record music and just put it up. I don't need to like jump through hoops or wait on anybody.
Yeah. I had a lot of people telling me that like what I was doing didn't matter, or like what I play, or like the song I made, no one's gonna like it. And even with the EP, people were like, before I put it out, were like, okay, like what?
Who were these people? Random people on the internet?
No, people that like I trusted like creatively were like, nobody's gonna care about this.
Jesus. And
then I just decided from now on I'm just gonna trust my gut on shit because I'm always right. And that was like always the thing. Like, I wouldn't do it and someone else would do it, and then I'd be like, I was right.
That's the worst feeling.
It's just my whole life is that. So I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm gonna just do it because whatever.
Fuck it. There we go. Is there anything that you want to set the record straight on, or something that I didn't?
Yeah, like me and V Nasty are friends, and me and Lil Debbie are friends. And that's what people like love. Like they want to ask that all the time. So that's the answer.
And you always like every interview you ever do, that's like the main topic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why everyone's so interested in that, but yeah, everyone's chilling. Everyone's doing their own thing. But
where is V Nasty?
She's in Vegas mostly, but she's doing her thing, and Lil Debbie's doing her thing. Like, when none of us like beef with each other, we're all old, we're all like adults, and like nothing we do like affects each other. Like, maybe back then it did, so that's why it was like staticky. But now it's like, whoa, that was crazy,
Like, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, good times, you know.
Are we
Or
gonna
bad
get?
times, I don't know.
Are we gonna get a reunion in 2020?
Oh yeah, we're doing a tour.
We're doing
No.
a full worldwide tour,
No.
playing arenas.
Oh my god, I never want to tour again.
Is there anyone else that like you keep in touch with from those times of like you being signed and like having
Like
a hit
celebrity
song?
people?
No, just like anyone, because it sounds like it is pretty much a black hole of miserable. But is there any positive experiences or people that you still keep in touch with, or
No.
anything you take from that time period?
No. Everyone turned their back on me and fucked me over for sure. Everyone was like, "Oh, you got this? Like, why I get this?" Or like, you know, like everyone just, they all fucked up. I think everyone just had different expectations. Nobody knew how like labels take 3 months to get this out, or
Right.
you know, oh, I can't like put you on this because they already like hired someone to do this. Or sometimes I would just be so like blacked out, I just wouldn't even think, like, you know. But yeah, pretty much everybody close to me was, we're all still cool in a sense, but like,
You didn't make any lifelong friendships from this process?
not that I could remember.
What's the most positive, something that sticks out in your head that from that time period that like you can say, oh, that was a positive experience?
Going to Japan. Traveling was sick.
Okay.
So, like, I had never been outside of the Bay other than LA. And then, like, all of a sudden I'm, like, in New York and London and all these places. That was fun.